Greetings and welcome, proud warriors, to a new Let's Play series. Welcome to Let's Play Fallen Haven. I would say that this would be a blast from the past, but that would be a lie. Because while I did play this game in the past, not that distant a past, actually, and also I never really had ever any intention of playing this game. At any point, I just came across it in a bargain bin and thought, well, this cover looks cool, let's give it a try. Was totally different from what I expected. But I'm going to give it a try right now because, well, for one thing, I have actually played this game to completion at some point, with both factions, and, well, it was recently available on GOG, which I do recommend you buy it from. Since if you do find a regular disc version these days, it's very difficult to get running. I mean, I've had the toughest of times getting it to run on my laptop, and my laptop is ancient in comparison to whatever else I have. But anyways, that's totally different from what we are going to do here today. Because what is Fallen Haven? Fallen Haven is a... well, I suppose in the broadest terms you could see it as a strategy game. That's what you're doing for the most part. Either doing strategic actions or tactical combat. It's turn-based, for one thing. So it already falls in between the cracks of games I usually play, because I don't have any problem with turn-based games. I have played loads of Civ. But the turn-based tactical games were never really on my radar at the point in time when Fallen Haven came out, which is in 1997. Which is just 1 year after Command & Conquer Red Alert and 1 year before StarCraft came out. Not that those two games actually are a fair comparison to this game, because, well, you'll see, but this game does have a sort of niche in my mind for sheer ambition that it might possess. I mean, just based on the intro you just saw, it promises to be a grandiose battle between two factions in a epic struggle for something, for some reason. It's not ever really explained why you're fighting in the intro, nor really when you just start up the campaign. You really have to dig into the manual for that. I'll just give you the Cliff's Notes version of it. Essentially, at some point in the future, when humanity starts exploring the stars, one of the mega corporations, because of course, named Matsusoni Lansen Corporation, sends out a probe somewhere. I'm not entirely sure it's told which star it's going to, but anyways. But some alien civilization finds the probe, brings it to their research moon, and, you know, tries to open it, see what it's all about. And when they do that, the probe detonates, obliterating about a quarter of the moon, killing pretty much all the high-ranking officials of the Tauran civilization, which consists of 12 planets at that point. Understandably, the Taurans are a little bit upset about this, so they start preparing for war. Unconnected from that, one of the Earth colony worlds, called New Haven, is undergoing some growing struggles, because, of course, the Matsusani clans and corporation has to be a complete dick about everything, and it likes to sell weapons. But how do you do that when really the world is more or less united? Well, that's why the colony worlds are so convenient. So, with their influence, they have essentially created several sectors on the world that are independently directed. They have their own governors and all that. And they have pretty much convinced the governors, well, you should really protect yourself against your neighbors. They might just try to take you over. And pretty much all the sectors have already bought into this. So they buy weapons from Matsusani Lansen Corporation. I'm going to have to stop saying that name because it makes me think of a merger between Samsung and Sony going into weapons development. And that strikes up an image that I don't want to see. Basically think Wayland Yutani, but with worse PR. Anyways, So at some point, the Taurans come across a ship from Matsasani Lands Corporation that is en route to the New Haven colony, potentially with more weapon supplies. They blow it up and find the colony and institute a blockade. This is a bit of a problem for the people on New Haven, because now they don't get any weapon supplies. However, on that planet, one particular sector colony has broken away from the Matsasani Lands Corporation, and has managed to create their own production cycle for weapons. So they are essentially the only resistance left on the planet. And they essentially have to fight the entire planet and the Tauran invaders. And that's the stage set for this world. That's the Cliff Notes version. We'll get into the game now. And let's see. Now, you have to pick either being a human or Tauran. For this case, I'm going to be playing as Tauran, because why would we play humans? The Taurans are obviously in the right here. I mean, it is sort of portrayed as that the New Haven colonists are actually benign, but you know, they were still pawns of the Matsasani Lands Corporation until a very short while ago, so at some level they are actually more or less aligned with that. Never mind that though. There's two versions, two campaigns you can have. The main campaign, the Fallen Haven campaign, where you and your opponent start with one territory, and you essentially have to conquer the map to get to each other, and essentially then conquer the other's capital province. The Last Hope campaign is where you start with just one province, and the rest of the map is completely conquered by the enemy. This is recommended only for experienced players. Now, this game is hard. I'm not just saying that, it is really hard. Mostly because the enemy cheats. But we'll get into that. Alright, let's not see that. You didn't see that? We'll name my colony Leo. And well, start a game. Strategy turn, year 1. Alright. So you always start in this province, regardless of which side you pick, and the opponent always starts in this province. You currently cannot see capital Chaos. We are currently in the capital of Haven. I really think they should have swapped those around, but for the sake of the critical missions, you really have to start in this location. In any case. It does have some kick-ass music though. It is really helps set the mood. Anyway, so we need to conquer our way up to here. So essentially this province or this province needs to be here. We need to get up to there because we can only launch attacks on provinces neighboring our provinces. Not sure why. Reasons. Quantum. Go. Let's go with that. And then there's the special missions. Now these missions can usually give you some good rewards like research points, some elite units, special units over here as well, lots of credits. We have plenty of credits at the moment, we'll have to spend those soon. And we need to set our technology. Now I'm just gonna max out so that the energy efficiency got up to the next level. And let's go visit the colony. Now, this is our colony. Here's where the Taurans have landed to seek retribution for the injustice done by the Matsasani Lands Corporation. I'm gonna stop saying that name because it really is starting to bug me. Besides, they're not even involved in this story as is. Alright, so we have here our dropship. There's currently only 3 units inside. This is basically just a basic trooper, a sniper, and a light attack vehicle. Well, it's called a light tank, but that's essentially what it is. I'm just gonna load up the vehicle. With some basic troops. Put 2 more units in there. Yeah, let's get all the LAVs in there. Alright, so first order of business is to set up this province to make profit. By building a road. Now, much like during my Let's Play of Imperium Galactica, the first one, I enjoy that the Taurans actually have a complete building set for themselves. Well, essentially they have the same building set, much like their units are pretty much the same to the humans, except with some minor differences. For instance, the Taurans have higher firepower, but their units cost more to build and such, which gives them a very strong early game advantage. Later on that becomes a little bit less obvious, but you know. Alright, where is the refinery? Alright. We need to make money. We need to make loads of money. So here we can see how many resource points we produce, here how much power we have available, the amount of credits we have, and the amount of income we get for our province. We need to max out our income, because we will need that. Especially once we start getting some better units. Now your starting province is fairly well laid out. As in you start with most of the basic stuff. Yeah. So our dropship costs 800 credits. For the humans it only costs 600. But I will order the construction of a dropship. And let's keep building refineries. Now we will have to concern ourselves with some defense at some point. Alright, so that maxed out the refineries. Well, let's get some cheap troopers going. And I can make up a couple of hover tanks. Yeah, let's make some hover tanks. They will be ready next turn. Alright, I will also need to improve our research capabilities. Alright, we are out of power, so let's get some more power plants going. It's easy to lose track of that. Right, and we are out of credits. That is a pity. Alright, so let's go back to the world overview. Now, there is one special mission close by which we'll be taking. The Eagle Nest. So, let's head back to our main province. Select our dropship, launch, go here. Now, you do have to be somewhat careful about leaving your home undefended. Because, like I said, the enemy cheats. And they can launch an attack on any of your provinces at any time, I think. From any distance, they don't have to bother you. Like for instance, say that I've conquered these provinces all, they can launch an attack straight into Eagle's Nest. Which is annoying that they can do that, because I can't do that. I can't even defend against it properly. Because Eagle Nest is a bit difficult to defend, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Can have a bit of a look at the layout of Eagle's Nest. Well, I'm saying it's difficult to defend. It depends a little bit on where the enemy comes from. But we do want Eagle Nest because it is rich in research, which gives you a 50% production bonus to the research. We're kind of looking for provinces with very rich, but we currently can't see any because they're all out of scanning range. Right. Well, I'm out of power, out of money, so let's just end the turn. We've discovered level 2 in energy efficiency.
Experienced rebel forces are waiting for you. They will join your forces to help destroy the rocket launcher.
Alright, so we need to decide where to land our dropship, and we can only do that really in one place. And we are in the tactical turn. Right, so these are the experienced rebel forces. Not entirely sure why there are rebel forces on this planet. Especially when you're playing as a Tauran. Yeah. But yeah, the missions are essentially exactly the same for either faction. However, that's not the point. Because these are experienced troops, which is why it's all the more painful to use these. But really the only troops that matter are these tanks. And I know they look a bit dopey, but those are very, very useful, especially early on in the game. Now, we don't have to kill everything. We really don't. We only need to kill this thing. That's currently beyond our reach though. But first, let's get everyone out. And let's start going. Now, your troops have 2 attacks, a light attack and a heavy attack. This doesn't necessarily mean that the heavy attack is better. It depends a bit on the situation. In this case, the heavy attack is an explosive mine, essentially a close-range charge. You can only really use that next to your units. Whereas the plasma launcher has a bit of a range, and I believe also as a lobbing weapon. So I can do that over obstacles. In this case, that's not really all that useful because, well, these turrets are right here, so I can't really do anything useful. So I'll just overwatch the heavy weapons, so I'll make sure that the thing doesn't run out. Yeah, that's what happens when you attack one of those turrets. But that's fine. He missed. But that's fine. I just want to take out these front turrets because the ones in the back and the ones over here, they can't really hit me, but I need to have a little bit of room for my tanks to maneuver. These turrets will eat through my units quite effectively. Essentially what I'm doing right here is making sure that all these turrets have had that turn so that they cannot shoot at my tanks. No, come on. He can't do anything. Right, well then you do. Only just. Alright, we do need to take it out, so let's have the tank fire its main weapon. And that did it. Alright. Let's make sure that our tanks are not in the way. Now, I need to get over here, so I'll just punch through the wall. You can just fight your way through this, but that's not really necessary. So we're not going to do that. Alright, do hit the wall that I'm telling you to shoot. No, there. Alright. It's through. I'm trying to keep my tanks a little bit spread out because this is an artillery piece, so any units adjacent to each other can really hurt each other. And most of these units are in range, I think. Right, now for these troops. There's only one laser tower over here, but that's still a problem. So we'll send in the troops first. Now, just out of range. It missed, good. And I don't have enough for another shock bolt tonight. Alright, I just finished my turn. Come on, kill it. Kill it! Yeah, that is the problem with disembarking from the dropship. You lose some action points. Yeah, I don't think you have quite enough, no. So you can't shoot. Alright, I think that's our turn done. And that's this episode done. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.